Oh, there's always such a delay when it says start recording. And then, yeah, it hits me the old 4 seconds. Welcome in. This is episode number 12. Very special guest joining us from the Daylight Savings Edition. We're just talking pre show about how painful this is. This is probably the best work the Condors have ever done. It's a small shop organization. I think there was only ever 3 people in the organization, but it doesn't matter. Gordie Ballhorn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm going to have to start off with the obvious for those who are going to be watching on video. Is that a little Movember action I see going there?
It is, yep. Raising a bit of money, so it's been good.
Oh, good. How much have you been raising so far?
I think just about 400.
Wow, damn, son.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how long have you been doing Movember?
Like how long have I been growing this, or how long have I been raising money?
Raising money. Like, have you done this in years previous?
Yeah, when I was playing in Kelowna, we did it kind of as a team. We were, I think, one year we actually raised the most money in this entire CHL. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so it's been good though. So I think probably 3-4 years kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And obviously, mental health and physical health of men, big thing, especially this year.
For sure.
Very nice to see. That's also what shade I see. Like, mine comes in a bit red, and I got the dark on top. I'm seeing a little bit of sandy there, a little sandy mustache. Is it as light as it appears?
Yeah, oh yeah. Got some little bit of red, a little bit of blonde, a lot of blonde, but
a little bit of Swedish, a little bit of Finnish.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, well, I love it, and it's good to see. So another thing, I guess, kind of want to start off the show. And maybe a decent little segue, and it's a big reason. One thing I keep getting, and I'm loving it, is I ask people if they've seen any episodes prior to, and they usually haven't, and they jump on the show, which is great because everyone feels brand new to me. But mental health and physical health during this whole, what I have been referring to friendly, I guess, as nonsense. How's it been, and how's school been, being kind of away, but also not really away?
Yeah, I know it's tough. I mean, you try your best to keep it as normal as you can, but I don't know, school, you go on, watch a lecture at 1.5 speed, and then try to teach yourself what they just talked about. But I don't know, going back to school will actually be a treat now. Makes you kind of look back and see how you took advantage of actually being present and learning that way. But
you don't have to share all your secrets.
Yeah.
No, I feel that though. You know what? I didn't even think about that, because that was one of the gripes I had. And I'm not even in school. Was right when people understood that it was going to be going to online. I kept hearing, well, the quality of schooling is going to go down, and I agree, because you're not in class and you're not physically. But I did go to school, and a lot of people who did show up were physically present. Mentally, they weren't there. They were nowhere to be found.
And that might change when we go back. Guys will just be so focused and wanting to learn some actual content when we go back, because nobody over here. So it's I don't know. It's, you pretty much just learn the things you have to learn, and which is not a good way to go about it. But when you're doing this, it's tough to actually I mean, you can ask questions to your prof, but you got to do it this way, or you got to get on WebEx or Zoom, and it's just more of an inconvenience. So you'd rather just almost Google the question and try to figure it out that way, as opposed to getting some value from the professors.
It is, and it's an interesting idea of just not only professors having that, but I learned a lot from classmates. Having that person, you kind of bounce an idea off them, and especially I find us as not only what I would refer to a bit as hockey guys, but when schooling is just as important as something else. There's part of you that feels dumb asking some questions, because you're like, yeah, look, I know I was gone last weekend because the boys were playing U of A and we left on Thursday. Sorry I missed Friday, but hey, I absolutely don't know what's going on here. Somebody's got to help me out.
For sure. And I mean, there are a lot of kids that love to ask questions. So even you're in a class with 100
the storytellers,
whatever, and you're just hey, I don't really get it, but there's 3 or 4 kids that will ask it, and then your question will be explained without you even having to ask it. So
That was
sure.
one of the beauties, except for some of the, there was always those people who loved telling stories, and you're just sitting there and you're like, man, we got 50 minutes to learn this, and I don't have time. I need a good quality question, or hey, there's office hours after work or after school, I should say.
The Ramblers, we got a couple of those.
So you guys doing, like, because you're on the hockey team, yes?
Yeah.
And what does that look like for practice and things? You guys still going, or starts?
So we practice just 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday normally, but it's not mandatory. But I think by them making it not mandatory, guys will come out more because in their minds they think it's their decision to come as opposed to having rules where they need to be here and everything. So I think it's been good in that way. And then I'm actually playing senior hockey out in Saskatchewan too.
Let's go.
So now with the youth sports not playing, we are technically allowed to play any amateur hockey. So
really,
there's me and 3 other guys from the team playing senior hockey in Wynyard. Probably never heard of it.
I'm sorry, where?
Wynyard.
The like Vineyard with a W?
No, W, Wynyard. Yeah, we're in between Foam Lake and Leroy. Probably never heard of those places either. Right along Highway 16.
Oh yeah, no, I hear it's beautiful in the summer.
Yeah, Google it.
I love that for you, and it's one of those things that, sorry, it just reminded me of, every time I go on vacation, and obviously in times past, not now, you talk to these Americans, and I often get the question, just explain Canada to me, or if you could, if you could sum it up in a few sentences, and you can use the beaver and say, well, this is kind of what we are. We're more symbolic, and half of Canadians have never seen a beaver in their life. It's just a white country, or the diversity across the country is so different. You never really know what you're going to get. So it's just stories like that where, where Wynyard is? Not a clue. It's like, well, your boy's playing there for the Monarchs, and it's in between Leroy and Foam Lake. So, if you're looking for something to do this winter, come check the boys out. We play on Friday and Sunday nights.
Seriously, and I'm just starting to learn now that I'm playing out there. Like, I'm learning small town Sask now. Like, I'm learning towns, population 600, 100 that I never even heard of.
Well, they're on the sign
before, so yeah, exactly. You go into a town with 150 people, and there'll be a sign, home of Stanley Cup champion, blah blah blah, and you're like, God damn, I never knew so and so was from here. Like, it's actually crazy, but
it's so good. It's so amazing. So in terms of, so you guys obviously aren't playing any games then?
We were, not with the Huskies, but just we got gassed. But we played 3 games so far. Monarchs.
Oh, that's not terrible. So, 3-0, team stacked or what?
Yeah, not bad.
We got half the squad from the Huskies, or
just 4. There's 4 of us. We're only allowed 4 imports. You're only allowed per senior team.
So the senior leagues are absolutely stacked right now.
This sports, yeah.
And what about your at one time pro status that doesn't come into
like I could go, but it's
no. Sorry, on the flip side, like playing with the team, they don't care that you played.
You can have like, there's guys that, like, old show guys that played. It's kind of like what Bentley and the Lacombe had. Like, it's sort of like it'd be like, it's like similar to that. Like, I know Kindersley's got a couple guys that had played in the show, 2 brothers, and like Crake's got a couple guys that play in the show. So it's actually like pretty good hockey. But
I was gonna say, if there was a time, I mean, wear your mask and go to the rink. You're probably gonna be seeing some good puck right now.
Exactly. 150 people allowed in the rink.
Let's go.
Tickets are hard to come by.
I bet they are. Price surge pricing in Saskatchewan. That's unreal. So what are you doing during your spare time then when hockey's done, school's done? Because I know if there's one thing during this, the old pandemic here, the days are long, boy. Days are long.
Yeah, I got to find a hobby or something. I've been looking. I might renovate. I might develop the basement in the place I just bought. So.
What place did you?
Yeah.
Unfinished basement.
So it's Saskatoon. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Love that for you.
It's a little duplex not far from the university.
Nice. Does I mean, we all do grow up at certain times, but my house has a nickname. Do you have a colloquial name for this
Not
place,
yet.
or not yet? No.
No,
Hey, that's
no.
a good sign. That probably means
Yeah,
you're maturing.
yeah.
Even my dad came down last night here, and he was talking about the speaker system, and he said, "Yeah, you got an aux cord." Oh yeah. He said, "You use it?" Man, not since we partied here. No.
Yeah.
Like looking at the old wall behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more Polaroids up on the wall. Pretty quiet place we got going here. It's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
The old roommate's room's turned into a gym. Just trying to kill the time, Dad. Sorry, I'm not as cool as I once was.
Yeah.
No, it's been good. But it's interesting to me that you've been forced back to school and you still could have go. Was there any thought of staying, or like staying in Alberta?
Like when I chose to come to Saskatchewan, like at the
Not the
beginning,
first
or
time with COVID, like
oh,
knowing that
okay,
you just need
yeah,
an internet connection.
yeah, I did, but I mean, like Carly, she lives with me out here. She's a teacher, so she had to come back anyway, and I don't know. I got a lot of. If we weren't skating and we weren't doing anything, and we were just on complete shutdown, you might
Yeah.
think about it a little bit more. But I know I kind of needed to get out of the house and get
Oh,
back to
absolutely.
some normalcy in the kind of whole thing. But yeah, I guess if I was maybe going to U of A and I was that close, and I'd stay at home because I wouldn't need to pay rent or anything. But out here, Carly
Yeah.
had to be out here anyway and everything, so I just said, "I'll
That's
go out."
wicked.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's probably nice having somebody just to even like. I mean, obviously, your girlfriend's lovely and having that, but just having somebody in your house, man, like
oh
that.
for sure.
That seems like a total luxury right now.
Yeah, yeah, we play a lot of crib, even if you're just watching TV or whatever. Like at least there's another human being there that you can talk to or do whatever. But
No, it's so true though. Like the hours, and I mean, I'm even fortunate. My brother, he has since moved in to go to school, and my dad's upstairs, and when he's home, like I'll just go up there every once in a while just to shoot the breeze because I'm
yeah,
just,
yeah,
I'm sitting down here working from home, and like, man, the gym's right there, the office is the kitchen. Like your boy's gotta. I mean, you've met me, all right. If there's
yeah.
anybody who likes the sound of his own voice, I would think I'm pretty high on that list. it's just interesting because I'll even take my previous roommate for example. And I guess we're not sure anybody. So Riley, like when Riley was here, there's something every once in a while, like every third or fourth Friday, we could just look at each other and be like, go grab a pint. Like let's just get out of the house, go to Craft, have a couple beers, like
Yeah,
talk about hockey and nonsense, and kill a couple hours or so. Like there's always that ability. So now it's not only can you not really go out as much or choose, I should say, and have that sort of liberty, and for the right reasons. It's just I don't know. I find it so hard, and even when people are here, like man, a couple Mondays ago, I absolutely licked stamps the entire morning. All I did was read. I had zero motivation to do work, zero motivation because when you think about things long term in the short term, if that even makes sense, like when are we going to get out of this? It's like we're not for a while. So
yeah,
you got to change. Like you have to change, or
yeah,
maybe not. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I've tried to like limit just watching TV all day, or limit like yeah, I'm not just gonna sit here and watch 7 episodes of Sons of Anarchy. Like I gotta do something that's gonna like not add value to anything, but just something I find enjoyable. Because like you said, like it could another 6, 7, 8, 5, who knows how many more months that if you're just melting into the couch every day, like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a long road ahead.
It's interesting that you said, and it's something a lot of people have said. And I mean, again, one of the beauties of nobody watching the old shows is I get to pull all the knowledge from them. What we've talked about is exactly that: is you have to know what you like for the first time, because you can only go so far on your phone.
Just for sure.
So if there's a question, and I touched on it a bit in terms of what you're doing and playing crib, what do you think you enjoy? Once Sons of Anarchy, Sons of Anarchy. This is the danger doing the old Sunday morning edition. Your boys got to get up. But anyway, yeah. What do you think it is? I found myself. I've been reading a lot more. Like it's the same thing. I play Solitaire City like it's going out of style. Okay, your boy's 100 at heart some days, and I decided to pick up Suits again. Started right on season 1 finale, and I think I'm already into season 3.
Yeah,
and that's been a week. So I found myself trying to read more, thinking about puzzles again in the winter here. Got a set of cross country skis, and I guess if there's one thing it all has in common is these are things I enjoy, and it's like you said, it doesn't have to add value, but it's got to be something that you don't find yourself, melting into the couch. It's a great statement. So what do you think? What do you think it is you enjoy, or what do you think you're going to start maybe looking toward here as the months go on?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when it first kind of started. I I was swimming a lot before they shut down the pools and stuff.
Nice.
I actually enjoyed swimming a lot. I kind of got into that and was maybe looking at doing we were going to do a team triathlon. Couple friends do the old sprint, do each take one sport, but that's kind of been put on the back burner. But I don't know,
what brought that on, if you don't mind me asking, the team triathlon there?
Well, Hannah and Carly did one a couple of years ago out in Invermere.
Okay.
And then I just said, well, it'd be fun to do. I mean, frick, I couldn't swim 2 lengths of the pool before I thought I'd be going into cardiac arrest. So that was a good, again, like you said, that was something that you enjoyed doing, and I wasn't good at it. So it was a challenge for me, and I enjoyed kind of going to do it. I mean, we're competitive guys, so it's like you want to do something to get better at it. I mean, by the end, I was thinking I was swimming 16 lengths without taking a break. So it was like coming a long way from holding my breath, trying to make it there and back without breathing or anything. So that was one thing, but I don't know, now with kind of that being shut down, I've been focusing a lot on our little business, the GBM Lines. So been looking at that and kind of getting stuff ready to go for the springtime. But even then you can only do so much. So yeah, I don't know. I'm always open for suggestions. The puzzles are a big thing. We did that right at the beginning of the first lockdown, I think.
Yeah.
Freaking, we got a puzzle, 1,000 pieces right out of the box. Did it? One piece was missing.
No.
They must not included it. So that was a dagger, but
a little bit of a nightmare in a box, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's weird times.
It is, no, and I agree. And that was even, I had 30 races set up for this. I was going to do this huge charity challenge. I don't even think I've talked about that on this, at least. That was going to be my summer. I'm going to try and raise as much money. I'm competitive as well. I needed to force myself, even because triathlon is something I want to do. If anybody follows me on Strava, I treat that place like an absolute arcade. It's just, I'll be on my bike for 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on the day, and I'll just go. And that's even one of the things I found during the summer, being in COVID, especially when no sports were on. It was, a nice summer day might be, let's say a weekend day, because I should let people know I do work sometimes. But, you'd get up, maybe go play a round of golf with the fellas, have a little lunch, and then, in the afternoon, whether it's some sort of chore, you're mowing the lawn or getting things tidy. But at the end of the day, you're looking forward to maybe a Blue Jays game. Maybe there's some playoffs going on if it's still early spring, and NBA, NHL, CFL might be starting up, turn one of the games on. There was always something to do. Yeah. But this year, naturally, there's nothing. There was not as much to get home, get ready for it. Even Jameson and I talked about on the last show. Don't get me wrong, the sports tournament styles, it was like the greatest. It was like having a hockey or a peewee tournament for every sport. It was like the world's greatest beer league. Those what are those tournaments in Banff every year? You know those?
Yeah.
Like those big men's league one in the spring. Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like, except it was the best players on the planet.
Yeah. I mean, that was a treat in the summer. I mean, but looking like now coming winter, I'm like, damn, I wish they would have waited. Because like you said, in the summer you could go golfing. Even if you just went outside and cut the grass, like you could do that, or you could go for a walk. You could go get ice cream. You could do this and that.
Just seemed easier.
Play tennis. There was a lot more activities that you could fulfill outdoors. Exactly. And then you would kind of find yourself watching hockey because it was on from 9 a.m. until midnight. So you were able to and then now come winter, it's like Yeah. I want to like that would be a treat.
Like what's on right now?
You're staying inside all day. I mean, you can only watch so many episodes of Seinfeld, and like it would be the minute live sports back, if they do start in January and we're still kind of locked down, that I think views will be through the roof.
They'd have to be. They'd have to be. I mean, even thinking about it, I'm trying to think about the sports that are on right now, and UFC pops to mind, but I was already a fan before that. F1's still going, but they got all the money in the world to keep going, and that's
it doesn't matter.
Another once a week one. So it's football, but there's even my mom said, and my mom's a pretty casual hockey fan, although she would tell you different and probably tell you she's a diehard. Even she came up the other day and said, you know what really sucks? And kind of out of the blue, I think we were at the grocery store picking some things up. I said, what? There's no hockey, and it's November.
Yeah.
And I thought, damn, like that, I didn't even think about it until right now because, I mean, it always feels like a bit of an off season no matter when the season ends. So it's kind of, we would have taken a month or two off after the Stanley Cup anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, December comes around, you're getting ready, like teams are starting to get in that point where it's, who's going to fall off, who's maybe going to make a push here. World Juniors are coming in, trade deadlines in February, I believe. It's just all of these things start to line up. You get really excited and you have that final push. And now, we're not even sure where Arena 1 and Arena 2 are going to be for the pros,
Yeah. Like I had one buddy who he's actually in the bubble for like the World Juniors.
Okay.
He's not, I know a couple guys that are playing, but he was like on the staff, like he was watching from the stand. And he sent me a Snapchat of just practice. And I was like, I messaged him back and I was like, oh my God, like I'm so jealous you get to watch that. And he's like, dude, it's practice. And I was like,
right.
Yeah, but I'm craving just some kind of live hockey. I'll go watch practice. I don't care. Like I'm still jealous you're in there and you get to watch all this. Like
I'll scream shoot on the power play drills.
Yeah, seriously. They're doing circles around the ice and I'd go watch that. The Dean Fontaine special warm-up circles around the ice. I love those.
Man, I remember when Dean Fontaine would take over practice, and I only had him in, I think, Adam and Pee Wee. The only two times I was fortunate enough to play Double-A, and every time Diener took over practice, it's like, boys, get ready for 20 to 30 minutes of the fundamentals. Okay,
I
shut your mouth.
Every time I do them or see him, I'm like, these are Dean circles. Yeah,
circles.
He would do them religiously.
Circles staring at the clock.
Face
circle backwards.
Yeah. With a puck.
With a puck, passing circles, like just really deep. He'd look at you.
I was such a good skater.
I was about to say, he'd look at you and he'd say, "Do you want to get better?" Yeah. This is what we're doing.
You
today.
Got nothing to say. Yeah.
You know who else did that? Because you were. When did you leave like Wetaskiwin minor hockey?
Bantam second year.
So you probably had Kevin McDonald then as well, hey?
No, I never played with Cole because he was always the only time I would have. No, I would only played with Cole in my last year midget. Like I played with Ben for 1 year.
What year are you?
97. So
what
I
year's
only
Cole?
Play with the 96s and the 97s, and Cole's 95.
Oh, Cole's only a year younger. Oh, well, there you go. Terrible friend, big stats guy. Sorry, I didn't have the numbers in front of me. That's a shame because there was, Kevin McDonald, first of all, one of the smoothest skating coaches I ever saw. It was like your boy got his skate sharpened just for practice, and he was coaching us and Adam. Like you could hear the C cuts from the third row. It was amazing. Where were we going with this? I feel like there was a different question before we started talking about our minor hockey careers. Gotta plug the boys every once in a while. They're in the Sobeys IGA Blazers.
The Lions.
Had a good season that year. I had Danton Ayotte and Riley Benefield actually as my line mates. I think I put up 50 points. It was I think it's where I peaked actually, and I was not very fast. It just broke out on my side, and those two would go down and make magic and just come by for the flyby. I am terrible, really terrible. Great line
You're circling back at the blue line for the flyby, and they're going in and scoring.
Straight up F3 all day. F3. Might as well have played defense that year. No offense to the defenseman out there. You're obviously a decent skater. Well, from what I know. What was I going to ask that I was thinking about this yesterday because you're one of a few friends, and it's not even about the career you've had in sports, because I think about that in terms of, when you grow up in a small town, Any chance to travel, especially when you can at those ages and you don't have a lot of things tying you down, I would encourage everybody to go, but it's not for everybody. A lot of guys, and I'm sure you've experienced it with roommates, with teammates, a lot of guys get homesick quick. A lot of guys don't adapt well. Some guys take too much advantage of it. They get that kind of freedom. How much do you look back on that in a year like this and think, man, am I glad? Like I just, regardless of what it was for, just the ability to live somewhere else. Like, have you thought about that at all this year?
Yeah, for sure. And we were just kind of talking about that. I was talking with my dad this weekend, and we were talking about like some guys that their families will move to wherever they're playing, and then they'll live at home in their new home. And I mean that would, I mean, it'd be good because you get to see your parents and stuff, but at the same time, like the experience is completely different. Like
Absolutely.
to be able to like I had great billets everywhere I went. So like when I was in Whitecourt, I lived with Ben. Like that might have been the most fun I've had in my life for 1 year. Like it was unbelievable. And like the billets are super caring and everything, but they're also like not your mom. Like you don't have to let them know where you're going to be. Like you have a lot more freedom in that sense. Like, and my mom was pretty chill, but she'd want to know, like, text me when you're coming home or text me where you go. Are you staying over? Are you coming home? Like blah, blah, blah. Whereas like when you have a billet, it's a little more, you got to like just discover things on your own, which is a treat. And then, yeah, you kind of figure out who you're going to be and stuff like that. So that was definitely something that was beneficial. And they'll say like you go in at 16 and by 18, you're pretty independent. Like you
Absolutely.
can, like you figure stuff out and you can cook for yourself. And like, I remember my 1 year in Kelowna, I think I would have been 19. And there's one guy on the team who like legit couldn't cook craft dinner. I don't think couldn't fry an egg. And it's just like, that's no good for however old you are. Like you gotta.
Yeah, we're gonna rip you a bit. We're also gonna teach you how to make a couple decent meals because we're still your teammates. But this is as much part of the experience as learning our systems for the forecheck.
You can only eat so much Subway and stuff like that. Like make a meal, cook a meal. Yeah, but no. And then like frick, to go back to Kelowna or even for a vacation or anything like that at this point would be. I'm sure everyone's itching to get out and do something. But it's kind of a shame too that like travel within our country is so expensive. Like I had the privilege to go to Europe last summer, and like we flew from Poland to Austria, and it was $13 each.
Yep.
Like I don't know, like it'd be like I was just out in Halifax last year. That's where our nationals were before it got canceled. But like it's a beautiful country out there. But I think my parents were paying probably an arm and a leg. They came out to watch it. It's not cheap,
especially the Maritimes,
for sure. So that's a shame in that way, where a lot more people could take advantage of traveling the country, just mini holidays almost. But and
it's interesting to even bring that up because it's something I haven't thought about in terms of an accessibility standpoint. I've certainly taken advantage. I have family in Vancouver Island in Cranbrook. I get some connections in Kelowna, kind of all the way from Edmonton through Calgary, through Jasper, through Banff / Canmore. Pretty decent amount of connections. I could get to Vancouver 3 different ways and probably have a place to stay in all 3 different realms. And what I didn't even think about that is the accessibility. And maybe, coming out of this, people will, maybe you and I should start another train company or something, because, even going to Montreal, like for people who haven't, you ever been to Montreal?
No.
I've only had the pleasure, I think, of going there once. We went to Ottawa and Montreal, maybe even Quebec City. It truly is a very different experience from even Toronto or Ottawa, like these major centers where French is spoken as commonly as English, if not more. And, the designs of how the churches were built were very much modeled off what was already in Paris and in France and all of these things. And then, you flip that, go to Tofino on the entire far west coast. Now you're surfing. And we're talking the same country, but we're worlds apart. That's probably 3.5, 4 hour flight, depending on the jet stream. I have no idea. But same thing with the Maritimes. Like, you've been to Halifax, right?
Yeah.
That's a harbor city. Like downtown Halifax, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you just walk, you have some beers, you can go to the Moosehead factory. have some seafood at the wharf. There's all those like cafeteria style markets right along the shore,
boardwalk and everything. Yeah,
and even, I mean, seeing photos of Saskatoon, Regina, I forget that it's very much like Edmonton. In the summer, it actually is beautiful. There's River Valley area. The sun never sets. There's all these small little shops. There's crossover of cultures. And yeah, I mean, I'm certainly fortunate enough to be able to just even, the trip I made out with Josh and Ricky to the island, we drove the whole way. And even that was in June when, Kelowna was starting to get an influx of people. COVID was kind of making the rounds in terms of, if you're going to give our generation an inch in the middle of summer and we're all locked down and we're a pretty lonely generation, or you don't have like a significant other, you're going to go to where the people are. It's just who we are as people.
For sure.
Hopefully, nobody did. You didn't see your grandma the very next day. But I'm sure something. So I wonder, maybe you think that maybe some companies will take that into effect. I know they tried to do Swoop. They tried to do Flare. But maybe coming out of this, they'll start doing something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it would, especially with like, I don't know, the state of the Canadian economy at times. Like, keep your money here for some things. Like, I don't know, it will be interesting because, I mean, there is kind of a monopoly on the travel industry within Canada. So if,
it really is.
Like you said, even like a train company like that CN or whatever, the rail, you can go from Winnipeg to Vancouver.
Yeah,
like, that'd be pretty cool. You're seeing parts of the maybe even go through Wynyard on your way. I mean, maybe you'll start seeing parts of the country that you've never had and might never will unless you kind of think about it that way.
I mean, have you ever been to the Northwest Territories, or
no?
How about Yukon?
The snowshoe-in? No, never been.
Snowshoe-in, baby. Shout out. Hate to plug your own company, but we actually almost one year. We should just do it. This would not be the year to do it because they wouldn't allow it. But there's always a. You ever played in the Drayton Valley Christmas Classic?
No.
Okay, so I was just using that one because it's a good local reference. Fort Providence has a similar idea. You show up, you and all your buddies, and they usually do the amount of teams based on the amount of players they have. And even that tournament Riley and I went to, that's just an open season, pay for your team. I actually think I was talking to the fellas last year, and it was gonna potentially be this year. Because who did I? Yeah, I was talking to. Yeah, I talked to Ben actually. I talked to Bulge. I talked to Hawk because he would even be on the way. Riley, Doberthien. We were actually going to stack a team and try and go up there. I was going to get my uncle to see if he'd pay for it, because I even said to Riley when we were going there, and it's the only reason I ask about the Northwest Territories, and even myself, I doubt I ever would have been up there had the family connection never been there. But just to see, like, Edmonton's north, and Edmonton is very far north, and it's the most northern capital city in Canada, and it's cold, and we get brutal days. I mean, hell, you've lived in Saskatchewan. It gets cold as fuck. And actually, Saskatchewan probably gets colder than Alberta and almost as cold as the Northwest Territories. But to understand how far north you are, like when you get there and you're pointing out on a map and the sun's coming up, 9:30, 10 o'clock and setting around 3:34, you get it. You're like, okay, this is, we're close to nothing. Yellowknife's 4 hours away. If we, God forbid, we die here or something happens, but we're on an island. We're on a landlocked island. So it's just interesting because even when he went up there, there's not a ton to see, but it is cool. It runs right along the Mackenzie River. There's wildlife everywhere that you might not see. If you're fortunate to see a lynx or some buffalo walking right outside the snowshoe, these things do happen. But even the culture is different up there, and very fortunate to have been up there. Even when Riley got the call to Inuvik, we're talking Edmonton, Fort Providence, and Inuvik.
Yeah.
You are now inside the Arctic Circle. One of the guys, I'll tell you a quick story because I enjoy this one. We were talking with one of the guys we played with in Fort Providence, and he actually mentioned to Riley, said, "Hey, you're full status. We need to get you to Inuvik. We'll do our best." And Riley just asked, or one of us asked and said, "Well, what is there to do in Inuvik? Like, is it going to be any different?" And he said, "Well, it's a shame that this one is in the winter because there's not, man. Like, we can go to the bars if you want, but there's not a whole lot going on." He said, though, in the summer, what you forget is the sun, especially in July, almost stays up the entire day.
Yeah.
And there's that 2 or 3 day period where it pretty much does not set. he said, man, one tournament we went to, lost the game on Friday, lost the game on Saturday, won our afternoon games. So we're pretty much out. We were 1-2. So we went to the bar on Saturday night. He said, man, you go there, sun's shining, it's 10 o'clock. He said, you're in there 3 or 4 hours, you get out, guess what? You come out, it's 2 o'clock, sun's still shining, baby.
Still shining, yeah.
He's like, nothing will mess your day up more than that, going home. Sunshine in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And I was just thinking, like, people don't get that, but it's exactly what you said. Just seeing other parts of this country. If there was one country that I could choose to, go through COVID, it would probably be this one.
Yeah,
States,
absolutely.
Depending on where you're at.
Yeah. No, and that was the same kind of, like, we'd go to Prince George, and it was 9 hours from Kelowna, but it's in central BC. It's not even north, really.
I know.
Like, there's a lot of country up there still, and which, I don't know, yeah, that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, northern BC is its own beast.
Yeah.
Or PG, man. They just, it's so deep. Every time a kid gets drafted there, it's, it's like a moment of silence almost. Like, you hope it's going to work out, or they make a run. You're like, man, that's tough living up there.
Yeah, I think at one point we might have had 8 guys on our team that had put in a bit of time in Prince George.
They're probably just a blessing, hey, when they came down to Kelowna. Like, oh my God, there's people here.
Yeah.
Let alone how nice the city is.
Yeah, no, it's...
So what do you think, kind of shifting gears here, going to get back on you, not necessarily on the COVID note, what do you think you've learned a little bit maybe in this year, or what kind of has changed in terms of perspective? Because I should explain, and I did not explain to you why I started this show. And for those who have listened before, huge audience, they'll know, but essentially I found myself when I worked at the office or was a part of the clubs and the training facilities, things I would do, I would talk to people. It's just kind of who I am. I don't know if people gravitate toward me, or I just don't really have this, I don't really have any convictions or vices that make me insecure in terms of like talking to people or just getting the conversation going. And when I'd go to the gym, there was guys I would talk to and girls I would talk to that I knew, whether from school or old professors. When I'd go to work, I could, chop it up with the boys about the Oilers. I could talk to the old guys about finance. There was always somewhere to go to talk about something that wasn't work or wasn't family problems or wasn't like, mental, physical health problems. You just kind of had that release, it's like when you and I would see each other at a party and maybe we haven't seen each other in, a month or two, and you just chop it up for 5 or 10 minutes,
pick up where you left off.
Exactly. Right. You're happy to see the fellas, you carry on. And I thought, can I operate without that? And I'm pretty sure I can, because, I got a bike trainer. I can go and run, and I can get on the psychopath program and do all those things. But I just truly missed being able to shoot the breeze with people. There's something so brilliant about, inviting somebody for coffee and spending an hour and a half just talking about nonsense and doing
the phone
things
away and just talking. Yeah.
And I thought to myself, how can I do that? And I don't love these kind of platforms despite abusing them, because there's no substitute for human interaction. Absolutely. At least in my opinion. Certainly not an expert in any field. Are you asking me, or are you telling me? Every time I think about that video, I think about 2 things. I think about Andy Sutton, and I think about you.
Yeah. So you're an expert.
So you're an expert. I'm just saying it's on the replay. So you're telling me. One of the greatest interviews of all time. Yeah. All time. So what a long drawn out question this has turned into be, but this is the beauty of this show. So when I started this, I just wanted to talk to people that, one, I thought were interesting or had something to say. 2, I wanted to become a better listener. I'm a Hall of Fame interrupter, first ballot for sure. And I just wanted to get, more than anything, people's perspectives on, well, either not what's going to happen next, but what are you trying to do? Or what do you think maybe coming out of this? How can we turn all the negatives, or even the negatives in general, into positives?
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. I think our society, even prior to this, lacked human to human interaction, and hopefully, like, people can kind of realize as they're locked up in their house with maybe one or two people, that then once this is all over, like, go for coffee with someone, or go talk to your grandma or your auntie or someone you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Or like don't take that for granted. And like, I don't know, I think, like, do people go to hotel bars just to talk to someone anymore? Like, we were out in Banff skiing the other day, and we're just like, we were at our resort, and we're
What are
like,
you, 49? Hotel bars?
you can't talk to anybody. Like,
No.
like it's just crazy. And I mean, we're talking through this, but like you said, if we met somewhere or you're at work, like, you can talk to people pretty fluently and carry a conversation, but a lot of people can't. Like, like, a lot of people are always texting or like talking through Snapchat or blah blah blah. And I don't know. I hope anyway that once this is all over, people will kind of shift away from that and focus more on kind of being present and having human to human interactions.
I like that. I like the being present part, especially. And I think that's, there's an expression that I heard once. It was actually on a trip. I went to Boston and did a bit of a mountain event. And that's exactly what the guy said on the Friday before we started. He said, I only have 3 rules. I can't remember the other 2. But the third one was, and be where your feet are. He said, I know a lot of you have left your families to be here. You've left your work to be here. You've left, whether your problems, your joys, whatever it is, you have left to be here. But at the same time, if there's one thing I want, maybe when the phone call comes in from work or comes in from your boyfriend, girlfriend, try your best to be where your feet are. And, for somebody who doesn't have too many things tying them down, that was easy to do, but you could see like people were struggling with that idea a little bit, I think.
For sure. And you don't want to, like you said, you're away from your family, you're away from all this. Don't waste your opportunity to be there. Don't be there without being present, because then you just spent a week away from your wife for no reason. You didn't get anything out of what you were there for, or you didn't learn anything. You just wasted a week worrying about that, and then you go back there and like you're no better than you were when you left.
Yeah, and you almost have to go in with that mentality before you even get there, because if you don't, you are robbing yourself of that opportunity to. I mean, if there's one thing I try and do, and this is probably why I end up trying out so many sports and different courses and all of these things, I'm 100% kind of guy for the most part. It's not a great way to end 100% guy by saying for the most part. When I 90, big 98 guy. when I commit to doing something, I'm all in. There's no say you and I were going skiing. That's exactly it. Maybe I wake up that day and I'm mad because we got to get up at 5 because we're going to Marmot and it's going to be a 3.5 hour drive. But I'm not going to sulk. The second we hit that ski hill, you boys getting as many runs in as possible. We're going. I remember going once with this girl and her family, and we might have done 10 runs, and they said, "You guys want to go grab a drink in the chalet?" Like, it's not even noon. They're like, "Yeah, but what's the point if we're not going to be having some drinks and being out here?" Yeah. My first thought was, yeah, but we can do that. Like, we can do that in Edmonton. We can do that at different places.
Yeah, or after we're done off the hill. Yeah.
Yeah, a little après, have a sud before we go. But yeah, I hope it does change too. And I think the one thing that people need to realize is the proactivity it requires. And I hope we can all just kind of drop I don't think it's insecurities, because I think that'd be rude to most people, myself included. If we can just kind of get past people telling us no or telling us to leave them alone. One thing I see a lot on social media, especially when we talk about mental health, people will put, what they'll put is, my inbox is always open, my door is always open, the kettle's always on. And I'm not trying to diminish that, because I think that's phenomenal. I think people do need to really understand that there will always be somebody there that will allow you into their house, into their life, and you should never feel that alone. However, there's something to be said when you jump into somebody else's DMs, you send a text message, you call somebody, and just out of the blue, almost a friendly spot check, like, hey, don't know how the fellas. I texted Ben 3 weeks ago out of nowhere, because him and I used to work together at the beautiful Montgomery Glen and Golf and Country Club. And I was having a career mail-in Friday. I was up at 7. I hammered out everything I needed to get done, but by noon, I just knew it. I had lunch, turned on the TV, and I was out. So I thought, who did I used to do this with? So I texted Ben and I just said something to the effect that nothing to see here, just dropping by. Want to let you know I'm having a Hall of Fame mail-in Friday right now. What does he text me back with? Glad you could drop in. Living dangerously today. Decided to take the computer to the couch. May or may not have turned on Sportsnet. May or may not be in the exact same boat with you. Yeah. It's just, we might have exchanged 8, 10 texts, and that was it. And that's perfect. That's all you need, just let the boys know, like, hey, it's all good. And just checking in on people, right? And kind of that paying it forward. And I think that's one thing I hope kind of maybe not changes, because I do think a lot of people do that. But you're right. Just check in on people. Say hi to your grandma, email somebody, send a postcard. Like, these little things take time and they take effort, but that thoughtfulness is almost always accepted by the other side and conveyed when you do those things.
Yeah, exactly. And then who knows, maybe someone does need need help when you just reach out. I mean, that could be a big thing too. I mean, hopefully you never have to, or hopefully you text 100 people and it's all good, but maybe the 101st person you text is in a bad place, and you can do wonders for them by doing that, for sure.
That's huge. Even with this show, most people have said yes, but I slid into one guy's DMs, which is a strange thing to say. And I knew him. I know him decently well, and I just said, hey, I have this little show going on. This is what we do. It's pretty casual. Mostly trying to get these first episodes in to see if I even like it and if I can commit to something like this. Would love to have you on. Asked a few questions about the show, back and forth, and he said, appreciate you reaching out. Don't really feel this is my time. Hope everything goes well. Hey, I work in a place where, first of all, everybody's second favorite answer is no. So you just take it off the chin, but then you move on. And, I'm not going to unfollow the guy. I'm not going to unfriend him. I'm not going to leave him negative comments. And I thought, yeah, perfect. Like, cheers. And if he comes back, and there's 50 episodes in, and he said, you know what, I wanted to wait until I knew kind of what you were going on, and I wanted to, see where this can be distributed, whatever it is. Hey, guess what? You're still welcome on the show. Like, whenever you feel your time is ready, but that is life, whenever you want to come over, whenever you want to hang out. I even, that wedding we were at, I reconnected with an old friend and realized I didn't even have his proper phone number in my phone. And I was like, no wonder, like, I sent him 3 or 4 texts in the months prior, and I'm like, man, this guy won't text me back. And then he said, well, what number do you have? Totally the wrong number. And then we had a chuckle about it. We moved on. I said, hey, you'll have to come up sometime. He said, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is just those little things.
For sure. No, that's actually funny. Yeah, I got a ton of. I should do that. I should go through my contact, because I probably have freaking. I think half my messages are new. Alex Phillip, old, Alex Phillip new. I think, like, it's just, you have no idea.
Could be.
Yeah, could be him. I don't know. I'll try it. Yeah.
I even sent. It was my uncle's birthday the other day, and I sent a photo of my mom and I just out of nowhere to his number. Assuming it's his number, no response. But it was iMessage, but that's not out of the blue for somebody to have, an iPhone that has my uncle's old number. No response. And then I was thinking to myself, I wonder if some random person just got a photo of my mom holding the beer, smiling, and then my text saying, hey, we're celebrating your 60th in style, or whatever it was. Like, hey, but they probably enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You ever mess with people when they send you text from a number you don't have?
Not
just me.
Really, no. Yeah, I don't know. Depends what they're saying. I don't get many, which is, I get freaking those telemarketers phoning me. That's about it. But
this is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We need your social insurance number now.
Required. Yeah.
I had one of those last month. The guy, because I toy with people. One, because I am the cold call king right now at work. It's a gritty lifestyle, but the cold call life doesn't choose you, or it chooses you. And where's I going with this? Sorry, I get nervous when I think about all the calls I make. There is, when you want to talk about fear and mental health.
Oh,
check your ego at the door, making cold calls. Be ready for people to tell you anything and everything. So, that's where I was going with it. The story on the flip side. So I did get one of those phone calls, and I picked up some gentleman with an accent I didn't recognize, and surely wasn't calling from Broussard. And he said the same thing. He gave me the runaround about the IRS, which always cracks me up because it's a Canadian number. So there's your first clue if you're plugged in. And I said, really? Where are you calling from? Calling from Anaheim. I said, Anaheim, really? In that same tone, he goes, yeah, really? I was like, yeah, you and I have no business here, do we? He just hung up on me. Come on, man. Who are we trying to do? Why do scams even exist like that, you know?
Yeah. It makes you think they must get some people.
They do.
They're still doing it, still calling, so.
What a shame. What a shame, these poor people.
Yeah.
It's weird times. So we've covered a bit of your hockey career. We've covered, I feel, plenty of COVID. I'm going to ask you, and feel free not to answer, if it's personal, but how have you found, because mental health is so huge, and for me, it goes hand in hand with physical health. I think if you can take care of one, you can take care of the other. I also believe if you're not taking care of one, it's also very hard to take care of the other. How have you found your mental health, physical health, and all this? And you got any tips or tricks for this COVID style?
I thought, I don't know. Yeah, for sure. I tried to stay pretty active. I mean, we work out twice a week and then practice 3 days a week. So trying to do something every day. But I think for the mental health aspect, like, you just got to kind of realize it's okay to just do something that doesn't, like, go spend 5 hours doing a puzzle. Like that's not, you're not learning anything and you're not like getting better, but it's something you enjoy. Like tomorrow you're going to have a lot of time. Like this, like we said, could go on for a long time. If you got to take a day for yourself, like that's not going to hinder like what you have to do. Like, okay, I push off school for one day. I got 18 hours of me being awake tomorrow to watch the 2 lectures. Like it doesn't, don't get so fixated on the structure of this and not being able to do anything and forget to kind of take care of yourself.
Almost the stop and smell the roses a little bit.
Exactly. Maybe. Yeah. You want to go bake something today? Like by all means, get your KitchenAid firing and make some whatever. Like it you don't have to be glued to your computer because your professor is speaking about God knows what. Like just
for his 10th consecutive year to the same class. Like
he's not going anywhere.
Almost. I think that's a good point. You gotta just take time for yourself. Maybe is kind of, if there's one thing that within this, we've talked a lot about connections and even reaching out to people. That's a beautiful way to look at it. You got to be able to. I mean, I went and got. Here's a perfect example. June's Delicatessen. We're still handing out free shout outs to everybody because we have no sponsors. But that's fine. I went there this morning. I thought, I just want to spend $4 on a coffee this morning. I don't want the coffee I have here. I don't even drink coffee that often. But this is a part of my experience with you. I know I'm going cross country skiing later today. And I thought sometimes you just gotta treat yourself. Maybe that's maybe that's key. This is why I love this show more than I love anything. Maybe we're not as much as we think taking care of ourselves. Yeah. Maybe we got to put ourselves first a little bit in the right way, I should say, not in a selfish way. Maybe that's what we're missing right now. Is that where or maybe that's where it starts, or am I just out of my mind?
No, for sure. And I mean, people might think they're doing a lot for themselves because normally they do nothing. So maybe now they're spending, okay, you spend 2 hours doing this, but like, I mean, you're spending the other 6 days and 22 hours of the day doing things for other people. Like take a full day or try to 20 hours a week. You're going to do something for yourself, whether it is going for coffee or writing a letter to someone or phoning someone or just going for a walk or whatever.
That's the big one. But just that I've found, like how often you and Carly go for a walk?
More so on the weekends. Yeah, for sure.
But even in general, like, for sure.
Yeah. We do that. We go for a coffee, walk around down by the river.
Like say at least once a week, twice a week.
Yeah. Once a week. Yeah. I would say probably.
And it's just like, it's so huge. Like my mom's actually coming up today. The one who's cross country skiing with me. Yeah. And she's living in Otaska. It's basically her and the dog. Yeah. And even at her age, with established connections, friends groups, places where you could go if you did want to drop into a household or two would still be compliant. And I even think, she said to me, what's the weather like this weekend? Like I got to come up there. Yeah. And it's having that time to just Yeah, you don't even. I mean, here I'll give you a little insight because as confident and as comfortable and as I am in general, which I think people know I don't save a lot of judgment or fear for myself. I just kind of get after it. I had to basically talk myself into going to Gold Bar yesterday because Gold Bar, out of all the places to cross country ski in the city, is kind of they have the most difficult trails, and a lot of trails, if you don't know what you're doing, you kind of have to, like, it's trial by fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to talk myself into it because I thought, well, I don't even know how to cross country ski. Yeah, I know how to skate. I've been on skis, here and there, but just getting okay. But are you going to enjoy it? Even if you do a lap around the hard trails, which took me forever. I went 3.5K and I thought to myself, like, people were passing me who visually I thought to myself, okay, there's no way this guy should be getting by and just gliding by. Just see ya. See ya, Phil. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And just getting out there. But by the end of the day, I was only out there for an hour, but man, was I tired, and I definitely enjoyed it. And I thought to myself, you fell twice. This guy, like, there was a beautiful moment where there was this pretty choppy path, and I don't know how to steer on cross country skis. I barely know how to steer on skis. And this guy's kind of coming. I should get my hands in frame here. He's kind of coming on almost a 90, and he's heading toward me, but he's already at the turn. I'm approaching the turn. He's in the tracks, and the tracks, and the tracks. Then he jumps out of the tracks because he's got to make the turn. Doesn't make the turn, slides right into the bush. It's cross country skiing. The guy's going 7 kilometers an hour. It's like slow motion, embarrassing kind of, and he just falls over, picks himself up. So now I look like the hero because I stay on my feet. So I make the corner beautifully. And now I'm thinking to myself, oh, I've totally been there, fallen on my bike, fallen on the trails running. Hopefully that guy's fine. He's all good. It's just cross country skiing. Now I'm on the straight, not even 12 seconds later. This guy's passing me. Beautiful form, nice skate, ski. So I get a little inside my own head. So I was like, okay, try and be nice and smooth here. First push off, I go to the left, catch a toe, just right into the bushes. Not even 30 seconds later, this guy behind me is already falling. Now I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I know exactly how that guy feels. Yeah. And sure enough, buddy's now the hero to me. He just keeps cruising by. And it's just even having those moments where would I've loved to have somebody else there, sure, but just the fact that you get up, you went, packed the skis, and then you have a day. And then all of a sudden, how I explained it to somebody else the other day, it's in those moments when you truly look around, you just take in your surroundings, and you are, like you said, you be present. And then you realize, hey, life is not so bad. As bad as COVID's going to be, as long as it's going to take us, it's okay. I'm still out here cross-country skiing. I'm still out here. It's changed in terms of what you can do, can't do. But if you can change your perspective just as much, those little activities seem like so much more.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. You just kind of got to look at the bigger picture. Could be way worse, but
yeah. And I mean, it's, and I even struggle with that and using that because it is something I tell people often is, well, you should be able to, keep your perspective, and you don't know what you don't have, but you also have so much. Like, if you can be grateful for it. The reason I don't love that is because it's not how you want to live your life going, oh, I'll be okay. I'm slightly ahead of somebody else,
Yeah.
But I agree completely where it's okay, but I do have the ability to get outside. Like, what can I do? I haven't been to the gym. Like, do you guys have gym access right now with the team?
Yeah, just like to like a private, like the athletic gym. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fair. So that's the one thing. You don't know how much I would love to just do a big muscle circuit. I would love to do some squats, some deadlifts, some bench press, hex bar, even a farmer's walk in the gym I would get behind right now. Like, I've been missing that so much. I've adapted. I got the bike trainer. I got a couple, I got a set of 20-pound dumbbells. Okay, you've never seen a guy do more bicep curls with 20-pound dumbbells. I get that. Don't get me wrong right now, but I'm going. Anyway, you tell me something. Have a like I've spouted off.
What was that? You kind of cut out a bit. I didn't.
Oh, sorry. So bad. Hopefully that's we're a small shop operation. Unfortunately, we have the best internet, the best internet in the city. Sorry, there was no real question. It was more just an open-ended. Well, actually, yeah, there was. You hadn't tell me something. Oh, running for it.
Didn't get that either.
I got out again. What a terrible time.
Yeah, it's good now, I think.
Good now? Okay, for the third time, and I apologize. It's I'm sure my dad's downloading Russian nuclear codes.
Yeah,
we'll have to bump him off on Sunday mornings for some of these. I'm also sweating like a mule right now. This caffeine's running through me. Anyway, there was no question. For the third time, I said, "Go ahead and tell me something." I feel like I've been talking for a bit.
Yeah, no, I put me on the spot now. I'm not the host.
Okay, and you're right. And you know what? You make a good point, and I don't want to be lacking on this. You want to do a quick rapid fire?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, there's going to be no time limit. We're just going to go until I run out of questions.
Okay.
Okay, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
How many times have you been to BC in the last year?
6.
6 times. How many times have you flown outside of this country?
Flown or okay, just
Give or
flown.
take.
Probably, yeah. 12.
Favorite country to go?
Frick, I liked Austria.
Why?
Just kind of the whole vibe of like you got the mountains in every city, and every people I interact with super friendly, great food, the culture and the history of having. I don't know. I'm a big war buff, so I love like seeing kind of like stuff like that, like firsthand. So I thought that was really cool.
Best meal you had in Austria?
Schnitzel, big schnitzel guy.
Nice. Yeah. Favorite celebratory meal?
Probably. I don't know. I can't beat Ballhorn raised steak, nice tenderloin. Yeah.
Favorite hoodie?
Probably. I don't know. I got a Lululemon zip up. It's pretty versatile.
Ooh, zip up guy.
Can run in it, chill in it. Can go to the bar in it. It's a jack of all trades.
And favorite minor hockey memory pre-midget?
Pre-midget. Frick, I got a couple. Obviously,
hey, two's fine.
Adam A.
Let's go. Yes.
Creighton Valley in the final. Still remember it. I think the score was 8-4.
Nice, very nice.
And then I don't know. I think I remember one tournament we were in Innisfail. It's a pretty funny story. It was me, Matt Fontaine, Jeremy Dick.
Good team.
After the game, or we played 2 games that day. After the first game, standard, go to Subway. Keep your
standard.
Keep your bottom hats on because you're going right back to the rink. So we are wearing our socks, pants, shin pads, everything with probably our snow boots on. We got our big snow boots. Mark Dick drives us there, drops us off. He's got to go fix Chance Longjohn's shoulder pad as it is broken. So he says, "Hey, go buy your food, blah, 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 eat it there. I'll be back to pick you up." So we are there. Hour goes by, nothing. 2 hours go by, nothing. Game time's like it's coming, like soon-ish. No cell phones. We're 12 years old. No cell phone, nothing. Yeah, nothing. We're shooting our sandwich wrappers into the garbage, playing badly, just keeping ourselves occupied. The Subway workers are probably like, "What the hell?"
These poor kids.
Yeah, so nothing. Mark, he forgot about us, but he goes back to the rink with Chance's shoulder pads to fix them, or fix now. Walks into the room, like, I think Curtis Zablocki was our coach, I think, back then, and like literally, like they're like, "Where's Gordie, Matt, and Jeremy?" And I don't know what his face looked like, but he probably just went, "Oh shit!" And there we are. He comes wheeling around the corner in his white Ford Explorer, and we're sitting on the curb. 3 with task when minor hockey guys sitting in Innisfail on the side of the curb or whatever.
Oh boy!
Get in the car, show up, play the game. I don't know. It was insane, but yeah, that's something I'll never forget. Minor hockey, the good old days.
See, and kids won't Kids won't have that experience, and it's even interesting. It's just hilarious to hear stories where we didn't have cell phones because it was if an adult dropped you off and said, "Hey, I'm going to be back in an hour." All right,
Okay.
well, this is all we got. Like
Good,
we're all in on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
2.5 hours later, boys, how's it going? Yeah, we know the game starts in 15 minutes,
2
Mark.
minutes. Yeah. Good thing we were half dressed. We probably would have been late.
Seriously, yeah, no doubt. Would have been the time too. Maybe you're tying your own skates. I might have been at that point.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think this is a perfect segue. Did you manage to finish the episode with Mr. Bowie from Ashoro?
No, I didn't.
Okay, perfect. So I end the show the same ways because it is supposed to be all about the guest. I also appreciate it's first ever rapid fire we did.
Nice.
Not the greatest one, as you could tell by the questions. Pretty scatterbrained. My other one I was going to ask, but your last two were really good. I was going to be like, and how long do you cook chicken wings at 425? But it's a pretty specific question, not a great one, but I had to at least tell you.
Actually, I do know that because I just cooked chicken wings in the oven on Wednesday.
How long?
I went 20 minutes on the one side, and then flipped them over, got them nice and brown, and then 18 minutes on the other.
Nice.
And then if you really want to live on the edge, you can broil them for another couple. Get them nice and
crispy. Yeah. You're a veteran of the chicken game.
Yeah.
So how I've ended a lot of the shows, and if there's one thing I appreciate as much as I appreciate people being on the show, it's the fact they say yes, because I find you can learn something from everyone you encounter with, no matter how ridiculous they may be, how educated they may be, how ill-informed, how well-informed. If you just give people the chance to talk and you give them a platform, in a sense, you're going to learn something about them. You're going to get them a little more comfortable with this sort of style, this sort of platform. So it's one of my favorite questions, and it takes on a bit of a variance of its own each episode as it grows. And take as much or as little time as you want with this. So if there's some radio silence, don't worry about it. But if there's one thing you could leave, if you had an arena full of people or a million in the Gordie Ballhorn fan club, if there's one thought or idea with all the experience you've had up until this point in your life, maybe you've been thinking about it recently, maybe you haven't, what one idea or thought would you leave people with?
Yeah, that is... I don't know. The first thing that kind of comes to mind with that is, again, we've kind of talked about it, and it may be cliche, but I'll give a little backstory to why I think that way. Take lots of pictures. I'm a big picture guy. I love having pictures on my phone and blah, 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 but don't take opportunities for granted. Don't be present. Again, it all kind of comes back to that. Don't take opportunities for granted. And the reason I say that is, when I was young, I don't know how old I would have been, but we have there's a family picture. It was in my grandpa's house, and my grandma had passed away when I was in Pee-wee, so pretty young, probably grade 6, 7. And we were out at I think the Johnston Canyon or whatever out by Canmore, the waterfalls and whatnot.
Okay.
And I was being an idiot, probably messing around, being a little punk, and I think I got in trouble. Probably got yelled at, probably was pushing Hannah into the snow or something, I don't know. But I was miserable. And there's the one family picture of us all there. I'm cousins, grandma, grandpa, our family, everything, and I'm just sitting in the front row, pouting, not smiling, nothing. And I mean, that might have been the last picture we got with my grandma before she passed away. So there's me being a little shithead, not really realizing that life comes at you, and who knows what it's going to be. So now, I mean, every time I look at it, I can laugh at it now, and we have more pictures together, but there I was just pouting, everyone's smiling, and I'm being a little bitch in the front row pouting. So I don't know. It all kind of goes back to that. Gotta live in the moment, as cliche as that is. Take advantage of your time with people, even this, the hour and whatever we've been talking. It's a whole different way of thinking when you can. I'd rather have a 10-minute conversation with someone that is authentic and real, and people are both engaged, than go for an hour dinner with someone who's checking their phone and not kind of engaged in what you have to say, and don't really care about what you have to say. In
the
a way.
Quality almost.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think that's a good way to put it. Look for quality over quantity, whether it's in your interactions with people or your work or everything. I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to what you can bring forward and the work you can do as a human being, and kind of quality kind of says what you are, what you're about, and kind of what you are as a guy or a girl or a human. So
That's beautiful. Also, love that story. That is, and I like how you mentioned too. You know, you can look back on it now and laugh because it's one of those times where there's both sides to it. You know, there's that silver lining just within that photo, and it's something you obviously carry with you, which is awesome.
yeah, it teaches you a lesson. So don't be afraid to kind of learn from the shitty situations that once were negative.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, hey, this has been another beauty. Huge fan, Condor alum. And, I mean, we had to get one in there. We had to get at least for everybody makes it.
Inside joke for all the
everybody who makes it. Everybody who makes it to the end of this episode. Don't forget.
If you know, you know.
I think that is the perfect way to end it. A little loot bag surprise there for the folks that make it to the end. And I'm gonna hit stop recording here in a second after we exchange goodbyes, and stick around post show before you hang up.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming on.